Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so sorry. I humbly beg for your forgiveness. It's late again, another late night, another day. But I'm up a little earlier than I was yesterday. So it is almost 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm going to talk about General Hospital. Today is Friday, March 28th. Thank you guys for your patience and for hanging in there with me. I appreciate you. I'm also going to try to talk a little bit louder today. I did see a comment where someone very nicely um, asked if I could be louder. I may have to like invest in a microphone or something at some point. But for today, I'm just going to try to speak up. Yesterday, because it was so late and because my daughter was asleep, she had school in the morning. So I do think that maybe I was just my voice was just low. But if today, with my like normal voice, if you feel like you're just not loud enough, please let me know. I mean, I appreciate people not wanting to complain, but also I don't take it personally. I would like to know if you can't hear me well. All right, so with the if only you could not hear that. All right, so we start the show with Sasha and Maxie. They're having tea. I forget the name of that little coffee tea place. Is that Corinthos Coffee? I feel like that might be Corinthos Coffee. Um, but yeah, Sasha and Maxie are having tea, and Maxie says something about having some tea for her sore throat. And I'm like, girl, if you got a sore throat and you're sick, why are you with Sasha, a pregnant woman? Like, I get you outside, so maybe there's a better chance of not breathing that in. But if I'm near somebody sick, I will tell I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be sick. I like if I'm in an Uber and a driver coughs one time, I already know. As soon as I get home, I gotta take some zinc, some elderberry, some ginger, or else like I'm gonna be sick the next day. So that bothered me a little bit because like the baby, and I already love that baby because that's Sasha and Michael's baby, and I pray for that baby. Um, so Sasha tells Maxie that the baby is healthy, shows her the latest sonogram, or is it ultrasound? Are they synonyms? I'm not sure. But the picture of the baby in black and white, where you can't really tell it's a baby, it's just like a lot of shapes. Sasha, it says she's past the worst part of the pregnancy, and I think she called it the honeymoon phase, which I've never heard of. I've heard of in relationships, but not in terms of a pregnancy. And says she has tons of energy. I was like, what is this stage of pregnancy? I have been pregnant and had kids, and I never had the part where you have tons of energy before. That must be a special Corinthos Quartermain type of baby. But I'm a little jealous because that was never my scenario. But I'm happy for it. Well, give me a minute. I don't know how happy I actually am. I am happy about the baby being healthy, and I'm happy that it's Michael. Um, I'll complain about Sasha a little bit. I'm got know that my complaints with Sasha are probably your guys also complaints with Sasha. But let me focus. Maxie and Sasha, they're talking the same conversation that everybody's having with Sasha, but Sasha says she can afford to take care of this baby by herself. And I wrote Sidwell, question mark, question mark, question mark, because last I remember, Sasha agreed to take that money. And then we later see that she is doing exactly what she promised Sidwell she would do in exchange for that money. Basically, like, recant her experience and say that she exaggerated what happened and to make excuses. And well, it didn't take long for me to get to my disappointing in Sasha part. That is what disappointed me in Sasha. I'm like, girl, like, it's bad enough you took the money, but like, he is not, ain't nobody there with a gun to your head. You're not being threatened with a bomb right now. Why do you have to do this? It feels very manipulative. And I have this in my notes, but I'm gonna just talk to you guys. Y'all remember the scene? I don't know if it was last week, 2 weeks ago. Since COVID, I have a hard time measuring time for real. I don't know from one day to the next what it is. So I don't know how long it's been. But when Willow and Sasha had when Sasha had the ultrasound slash sonogram, and they went back and forth at it, and Willow pissed me off and called Sasha's baby the ultimate con, and just like really threw in her face her past. I feel like Sasha's actions now are bringing making that more valid. um, because she's sitting there to Maxie, who is her friend, who is essentially her family, now that we found out Holly is her mom and Robert is her father. But like she's intentionally misleading her and making it seem like Sidwell, like it was no big deal. She misunderstood. And yes, the shit was technically Holly's fault. And please know, I am not defending Holly. I will never defend Holly. I told you guys before, if you don't remember, I do have a favorite scene of Holly. And my favorite scene of Holly was when she came out of that cabin on fire. Every time I think about it, I laugh. And she was like, oh. I loved it. That's the only time I've enjoyed a scene with Holly in it. And I don't think it was supposed to be funny, but it tickled me to no end. My point is, I'm not defending Holly at all, but I don't like what Sasha's doing. And I don't, she said it's the honeymoon phase of her pregnancy, so I don't think it's pregnancy brain. Like, I really don't understand what she's thinking. Again, you want to take the money, take the money. Okay, fine. I don't agree with that, but to a certain extent, as somebody who's been broke, I can see that. But just to be in that intimate setting there with Maxie, someone she is so close with, and to know that she is switching the facts around just because she made a deal with Sidwell, really left me feeling a bad kind of way. And I haven't felt that way about Sasha since Valentine paid her to pretend to be Nina's daughter. And matter of fact, I was watching on Roku. I told you guys I watched the old episodes on Roku all the time and enjoyed them much more than the current episodes. But I'm actually in the episode that I watched was where Lulu did what Lulu does and blew up the wedding, Nina's wedding with Valentine, and told everyone that Sasha wasn't Nina's daughter. And I felt more judgmental of Sasha today than I did watching that episode. So I just don't understand the writing. I really am trying not to hold it against Sasha, because when I like a character and they do something stupid, I won't blame the character. I'll blame the writers. If I don't like the character and they do something stupid, then I'll blame the character. But, I think that's what we all do to a certain extent. I've been talking like 3 minutes, and that's just like one note. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me focus. Where were we at? My note for everything that I said is Sasha apologizes that she affected deception. They need the zinc stuff. And I didn't even mention that part. Zincite, whatever that chemical compound is they need for the medication. So basically Sasha's saying, hey, I know you guys need this. Sidwell isn't that bad. You should do the deal. She overreacted. And it's really, really frustrating if you can't tell by the past few minutes. And she even says he wasn't cruel and blames Holly for it. It's gross. Again, not defending Holly. Will never, ever do that. Yeah, she basically encouraged Maxie. And yeah, I already said this one. Sasha is making what Willow said more valid. All right, so then we see Tracy. She's at the hospital. She wanted to find Stella, but she just missed her. She talks to Elizabeth, and they talk a little bit again about the kidney test. I've talked about it. They've done it the past 2 days, and I've talked about it the past 2 days. And I know it may feel like out of place in a bit, but this is a medical show. General Hospital has done these type of PSA type of things in the past. It used to be much more common, so I appreciate those things. I appreciate every time they reiterate it. Next time I go to the doctor for my checkup, I am going to ask about the kidney test, blood test, because you need both. And I learned that from General Hospital, because 90% of people who have kidney disease don't know until it's too late. And I don't want, that's a big ass number. I don't want to be one of those. So sorry if it's annoying to anybody, but I appreciate that. And I'm very critical of General Hospital. So I want to be equally like congratulatory. Is that right? Congratulatory. Praise the good things, just like I complain about the bad things. But anyway, Tracy missed Stella. Stella was already gone. Liz asked about Monica, and y'all, we know where this is going. I've been saying it all week, probably like the past 2 weeks, that the fear that we are using this whole Crip story to traumatize Monica to where she passes away. And as much as normally I would be like, I was right, because I'm a Leo and a middle child. I take a lot of pleasure in being right. It happens a lot, but I'm playing that up a little bit. I'm actually not quite that egotistical. But I didn't want to be right about this. Maybe if Leslie was still alive, it would be a little easier to swallow. But knowing that Leslie passed and that we had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to honor her in a better way, and this is what they chose to do, I hate it. I really hate it. And maybe I'm wrong, but I can't see that being the case right now. That's what it looks like. That's what we're lining up. Monica's gonna find out about the Drew and the crypt moving stuff and leave us. And yeah, I guess it'll be good story, but I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna affect me until we see it play out and how everyone's responds. And it really hurts me that Michael won't be there. Um, if we would have done this sooner, like we could have honored Monica and Leslie at the same time. And Tracy's opinion I care about, Ned's opinion I care about, because you know Ned and Monica got that history. If you don't know, if you are a newer viewer and don't know, Monica and Ned, that like, but they didn't know they didn't know that they were related by marriage at the time. I believe, if I remember, Ned was Monica's tennis coach or something. I don't know. I have to ask my mom for details. Y'all, I am 12 minutes in and I have talked about like 2 things. I'm sorry. I keep going off into these tangents. I hyped myself up before this. Wasn't feeling my best, so I was like, I gotta bring the energy, and it must have worked. So that's what you get. All right, then we see I was talking about Monica with the Drew stuff. Tracy does hope that Liz and Tracy hope that Monica won't find out about what's going on with the Drew and the Quartermaine and the crypt. We know. All right, I need some water. I've been talking so much, trying to project, drying my throat out. All right. Then we go to the Quartermaine property. We are at the crypt, having tales from the crypt. That was a little bad. Trina confronts the councilman. She has, no, she doesn't have her phone yet. She says, hey, I'm trying to study what's going on here. And I forgot Trina even lived on the Quartermaine property. As often as we see other people at the Quartermaines, I wouldn't mind seeing Josh and Trina, like, coming over for breakfast or something. They live right there on the property. Why wouldn't they? I get that it's an independent, like, apartment over the garage, but I wouldn't mind seeing them hanging out. Like Curtis the other day was there with Stella. Curtis and Stella and Tracy were having tea. Why couldn't Trina have popped up and had some tea? Because, like I said, I completely forgot they lived there. And the congressman, I cannot remember his name, y'all. It's taking everything in me not to call him Daniel Colson from One Life to Live. So I'm going to always call him the councilman. Trina confronts the councilman, and like, he doesn't remember meeting her the day before, which I get was supposed to kind of show that, like, he doesn't pay attention to his constituents. But I have a bit of a character flaw. It takes me on average, about 3 times meeting someone before it sticks. Faces are a little better, but names and faces is very hard. But for whatever reason, once I get past the 3rd time, you in here, then I know you. So I can't judge him for that. Even though it was yesterday. The press conference was supposedly yesterday. All right, then Emma and Gio show up, and they serve Gio because they're like, oh, you live on the property, main house, bam, take this, you're being served. But they must serve Monica because she is the homeowner. All the teens, they're not teens anymore. They're in their 20s, but I still want to call them the kids. Trina and Gio and Emma argue with the councilman and the other construction person there. Turns out they actually served Yuri the papers, and they like made offensive jokes about him not speaking good English, and that was annoying. But I get what they were going for, and they accomplished that. They made him seem, is it not racist, but like something. They made him seem, but they say they must serve Monica because she is the actual property owner. It is Monica's house. Alan gave it to her. The kids argue with the councilman. They serve Yuri, not Monica. Already said that. Trina, it then starts streaming on her phone. GL brings up that this is a public health issue, digging up corpse, moving like dead bodies. they try to tell Trina not to record, and she's like, "Oh, are you denying my rights to record?" Blah 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 blah. And he was like, "Ugh." um, Tracy shows up a little later. The councilman, she says, "I don't know what court order you talking about." He was like, "Oh, I thought you would say that. Here's the other court order." Then Tracy does. There's a lot of I can't say that word. Antagonistic. There's a lot of animosity back and forth. They're arguing the same stuff over and over. Really. Eventually, Tracy sits down next to Emma, acts like she's chained up with her, and says, "You know, she's joined a protest." I don't think she did this, y'all. I'm doing this. Trina continues to stream. Geo looked proud, like a proud father. I'm like, okay. And earlier, Emma has told Geo to call. Wait, I don't even think. Did I say Emma chained herself? Yeah, I said she chained, but I went over it pretty fast. Sorry. Anna comes because Geo called her because Emma told him to, and Anna's just kind of taking it in the scene. And this is going to skip ahead, but after reviewing the court order and understanding everything that's going on, Anna does tell the cop there to go get the bolt cutters to cut that chain. And they're like, "Oh, you're siding with them." She was like, "I just care about the law." I'm like, "Yeah, Anna, when it's convenient for you." But I also get, like, that is her job. Alright, sorry, I know that was all over the place. I cannot believe I'm 16 minutes in and barely getting started. Y'all forgive me. Skip ahead if you need to. I understand. Alright, Drew and Kai are in Drew's office. Kai's talking about speaking engagements and future events. Kai mentions, talks about how he'll never go pro. Maybe he's not the right person to spearhead all of this publicity-wise because he's not technically a football star anymore. Drew offers him a doctor, basically. He says, "Hey, there's this experimental treatment surgery." Kyle's like, "Oh, I can't afford it." He's like, "Oh, I got you." And Kyle's like, "Whoa, I don't know if I should trust you. I'm just be a little nervous." Drew's like, "Oh, you must have been talking to Curtis. Don't worry about that. It was a misunderstanding. We were friends. With business didn't work out. I never broke any promises." Kyle said something to the effect of, "Do you regret it?" And Drew was like, I wish it wouldn't have affected our friendship." And Drew handed Kyle the folder with the information, and he looked a little too happy for my taste, walking off. So I think this is to give Kai and Trina some tension, because Kai is going to want to accept the offer from Drew, and Trina's going to want to, I don't want to say it, side with her dad, but even though Taggart is her forever dad, hashtag, where is Taggart? I'm always going to say that. All right, so then we have Lulu and Lucky. Yeah, Lulu and Lucky are Charlie's. Oh, they haven't seen each other in a while. Lulu's like, "Yeah, you're always busy." He's busy, spending a lot of time at Elizabeth's. Lucky tells Lulu about the plans to go to New York and asks if Aiden can stay at Laura's. And I was like, "Lucky, stop acting like you care about Aiden." Because I can count on, literally on my one hand, the number of scenes I've seen with Aiden and Lucky. And where it's just Aiden and Lucky and not Elizabeth, I feel like there might have been 2 scenes since he's been back. So what are you talking about? Which is unfortunate, because I was looking forward to seeing Lucky being a dad, because I had hoped that he would be a better dad than Luke. But Jonathan Jackson said when he came back that he was going to be more like Luke than he ever was. So, yay, suck as a dad. But Luke might have even been a better father. I know Luke was often absent, but Luke, at least we did get to see scenes of him with his kids, like making these declarations of love and imperfection. He wasn't always sober, but like, he was there. But Lucky tells Lulu about the plans for New York. Ask Aiden, they already said that. Lulu asks if Lucky is sure about this, and then immediately backtracks and was like, "Oh, just forget I said anything." I was like, "Girl, if only we could. I try every day to forget what you said, and I cannot." But she basically says it's risky to take Elizabeth back to New York when so much has changed. You guys have this epic history. And then she says she may be projecting. Duh. Um, and Lucky says it's not really about reclaiming the past, it's that he wants a future with Elizabeth, and he hopes she wants the same thing. Once again, Lulu made something that was not about her about her. She says she's stuck in neutral while he's moving on. I'm like, girl, just say I'm happy for you, bro. Like, I'm glad Elizabeth is no longer a slut. If you know, you know. Comment below if y'all know what I'm talking about. You see what I did there. All right, so then we see Christina, boom, 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 banging on Ava's door, like banging on her door, even trying to open the door, like y'all can see my head, open it, jiggling the door hand, like she was just trying to bust in. That bitch is crazy. Excuse me, I don't really like calling other women that, but Christina fits the role. This Christina fits that. All right, Ava should have called the police. She could have called 911 and said, "I think someone's trying to break into my home." I would have. Oh, but then she goes. Well, Rick is there. Like, I didn't even put that in my notes. I'm glad I remember. Rick is there. Ava was like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here." Rick was like, "Yo, I just made peace with Alexis. I don't really want Christina to see me with you." Alexis was like, "Well, go hang back there. At least you can be listening. I might need a witness, because you know, and we all know." But she let Christina come in and invited her in, so to speak, and told her to stay away from the window because we wouldn't want a repeat of last time, you know. I feel a little bit bad for laughing at that shit, but I chuckled. I know some of y'all did too, because it was funny. Because more or less, Ava ain't shit, but she's not wrong. All right, Christina says, "Did you just make a joke about my baby dying or something to that effect?" And Ava was like, "I would never joke about what happened to baby Irene." Christina says, "Her name is Adela." Ava said, "Not according to her tombstone." Christina says, "Stay away from my baby's tombstone." Ava, "You pushed me." Wah, 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 wah. Ava said, "You know what? You can tell yourself whatever you want. Just please stop telling me." I was like, "Hey, man, please, can you stop telling all of us? Because we don't need to keep hearing your delusion." And we see, periodically through this whole confrontation, we see that Rick is listening and he hears everything. Ava wants Avery, and she says, "I don't think Sonny is healthy enough. If something's wrong with him, and then plus what happened with Michael can happen to Avery. I think she should be with me full time. Plus, Sonny needs to break me out with some more child support." And Ava is taunting Christina, but I did not mind it, not one bit, because Christina is so unhinged, so crazy. I say unhinged, but she is. That's she make it bring out the southern drawl in me. It's too much. Too much, and not in the fun. I said this to my daughter earlier, we were watching it. Like, Christina's not even being crazy in the fun, crazy way, where it's like, like when Nina was crazy, when Michelle Stafford played her, and she was taking babies out of uterus. It was crazy, but it was like, she's so crazy. It was fun. This Christina is just crazy. It's not fun. It's more annoying. That's why I'm yelling. Also, I want to be loud so you guys can hear me, but the two go together. All right, oh, wait, let me go in order here, because I don't want to mess this up. Ava said she should get more child support as well, and she said, "As a mother, I'd do anything to protect my child, but you can't understand since you aren't a mother." I was like, Ava, that's cold, but I won't mad. But because the thing is, Christina wasn't supposed to be a mother. She was supposed to be that baby Irene's aunt. She was a surrogate. I get that things changed for her and her mom, but I don't forgive her for that. I don't forgive the writers. This story should have been much more about Molly and TJ than Christina. This was the second baby they lost. TJ? Who is TJ? Do y'all remember TJ? Yeah, Christina was she was the baby's aunt, a surrogate, not the mother. Oh, this is the part. I'm about to say something. I said a similar sentiment about someone yesterday. I just don't remember who. But once again, I'm saying something I don't think I've ever said before. Let's all collectively take a minute to process this. I'm glad that Rick was there. Because Ava needed a witness. I've never said that before. I've never thought that before. I don't know if any of us have. Um, Christina goes on and on. You withheld medication from my father. Ava said, oh, I was in shock. I didn't know what to do. I think we should go to court to make it official. Christina brings up Morgan. This is where I pause. Out of all the things I will forgive Ava for, like I like Connie, especially when she was Connie, not when she was kid. I like the crazy Connie. I liked her. Not that mental illness equals craziness. Y'all know it's a soap opera. You know what I mean. But switching Morgan's pills, that's, for me, that's the worst thing Ava has ever done. And I don't like it because I love Morgan so much and I miss Morgan. But Christina brings up Morgan. I don't know what that note means. Oh, Christina says she couldn't protect Morgan. She couldn't protect Adela. She will protect Sonny. And she storms out. Then Ava is talking to Rick, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here." I was like, "Girl, me too." And then I had to sit with myself and reflect upon it. But she says that Ava's being a little delusional. She thinks Sonny will give her custody and more child support to keep his secret. I'm like, Sonny don't really operate like that. And Rick agrees and was like, yo, that's when Sonny is the most dangerous, when he's cornered, his back is against the wall. Then Liz calls Rick. She has the info for him that he requested about Portia, which is so stupid. But now I understand the reason for that was to be able to have this run of events. And Ava was jealous. And I was like, Ava, I don't like it when you're jealous. But Ava was jealous. She was basically mocking Rick and Elizabeth. Called her Saint Elizabeth. I do like when people, like shady characters, call her that. Carla used to do it. Now it's Ava. Because we all know Elizabeth is not a saint. Never been a saint. And Ava accuses Elizabeth of using Rick to protect the hospital, not Portia. Which, from everything we've seen, is not the case. Elizabeth does seem to want to protect Portia. It doesn't necessarily make sense, but it's not the character's fault. It's just poorly written. We're just supposed to be like, okay. Okay. And Rick, he don't like that shit because, Rick loves Elizabeth. She's always going to be the one that got away. Like, that's why I didn't want Ava and Rick to even do what they did, because I said this in a video, I got video proof somewhere, that Rick would always, if Liz was like, hey Rick would be like, Ava who? Like, that is part of Rick's, that is one of his main characteristics, is his love for Elizabeth. He chained Carly to the wall for Elizabeth. Yeah, and also not only was Ava being critical of Elizabeth, she was also kind of in her own way standing up for Portia and Portia's rights, because what Rick is doing is messy as hell. But it was already messy to even work with Portia after he represented Heather. The conflict of interest on top of conflict of interest, like it's the whole stack is conflict of interest. Rick says, I saved Elizabeth. And Ava said, no, Lucky saved her. You just did the paperwork. That woman is a menace. Then we see Christina hyperventilating. She don't know what to do. And even the hyperventilating is bad. I'm not saying she's a bad actress. I'm just saying she's not acting well. All right. She's in a parking lot or the garage, wherever we are. Yeah, it must have been the garage. And she sees that she's standing right next to the car that must be Ava's car, because Ava's apartment is number 4 and that parking space is number 4. So she's like, I've got to stop her. I don't even remember where she got like the belt cutters from, but she has some like giant knife looking things, and we could only assume that she was gonna cut the brakes. We later found out that's what she did. But then after that she goes to Charlie's, and she walks in and Lucky's there, and she's like, oh no, I made a mistake, but I'm gonna fix it. I'm like, so you had to walk into the door at Charlie's to realize you fucked up? You drove all the way over there and was just like, this was the best thing ever, this was the right decision. And then once you get in Charlie's and see Lucky though, it's like, oh, I might have made a mistake. Write the story better, y'all. I mean, it's too late now. This is what we got, but Lucky chases after. Christina walks out the door. It's like, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. Lucky grabs the keys and chases after her. Then we see Christina driving. She's calling Ava. Why in the hell would she expect Ava to answer that phone? And I get it, Christina crazy, but like, there's no rational part of you left. You just crazy. So Ava ignores her. Ava's sipping on her martini. I'm going to take a sip of my water. What if this was gin? And the face I made it seem like it could be liquor. I promise y'all it's just water. Here, let me prove it. Let me prove it. This is my bottle of water. If this was gin, I would not do this. See? I think it's just because it's cold and my teeth are a little sensitive. All right, where are we? Ava's drinking her martini. And what was Christina gonna say either? Ava, I tried to kill you, but I changed my mind. It was a mistake. That's so stupid. All right. But I'm out of order. Before this, we see Elizabeth getting to Rick's with the papers that he asked for him. Oh, and she says sorry she didn't want to interrupt whatever this was, meaning Ava and Rick, and runs off. Rick, I already talked about that being against her. Rick's like, I have to go behind her. I have to go find her. Ava's like, seriously? And, you know, Rick could only see Liz. So he gives her a ride, and they get to arguing in the car about, like, the papers. Rick is, what Ava said, is kind of messing with his head, and he's trying to figure out if she was using him or not. You know, Liz is rightly acting like he's crazy. And I think what's going to happen with this is those papers are going to come back into play. And I said this before. I'm sorry for being repetitive. But I think that, I don't know, maybe Drew will drive by. Maybe that's why Drew wasn't at the crypt already. So that he was at his office so he could be in transit. So on his way to the crypt, he will see the accident and pull over and try to help and see the papers. And find out that Portia was looking into his medical history. I don't know. It's just a feeling I have. Yeah, I think that's the point of that. But I don't even think I put this on in my notes the last few minutes because I was just watching. Elizabeth tells Rick to slow down, and he's like, I can't. The brakes aren't working, and they realize that there's going to be an accident. And then like the screen went to black. But that's the end of the episode. Before we get to the end of the episode, we have Sonny and Jason. They're on a plane. We know they're on a plane because we get a shot of like a plane in the sky. I love GH. They talking about Michael and hearing the pain in his voice, and that they got to find out who the hitman was working for. Jason's like, well, what are we going to do when we find him? Sonny was like, I don't know. I was like, damn, y'all might should have a plan. I'm no hitman. I'm no mobster, but I do love a good plan. Then Sonny is waiting in the hitman's living room when he comes in. I don't remember the guy's name, y'all. I'm sorry. If you remember and you want to comment below, let me know. They make him, Sonny, because Sonny is the only one we see at that point. Sonny makes him turn over his weapons, ask who hired him. He says he doesn't know. It was anonymous, cryptocurrency, blah, 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 blah. He tries to find his secret stash gun. Sonny was like, oh, you looking for this? I already got this. And then the guy was like, fuck it, I'm just going to run. And Jason is at the door. He does not want to confess. But we are assuming he will. I was like, why won't my app go up no more? Like, I'm sure I got more to say, but I don't. That's it. It's just that things were a little out of order, and the Elizabeth and Rick stuff happened at the end. 34 minutes. Literally 2 more minutes and I'll be as long as the show. And I will probably talk now for 2 more minutes. So, I'm so sorry for being so long, drawn out. Except if you're one of the people like me who like the long-form content, then thank you. I hope you can hear me. Let me know. I kind of felt like I was yelling at some points. I still kind of feel like I'm yelling, but I want you to be able to hear me. Yeah, that's all I got. Decent episode. I am wondering what's going to happen with this car crash. I think Rick should probably die. And yes, that's because I hate Rick, but not really. Just because Molly and Christina just made peace. And while it'll also be tragic, like Lucky will blame, if Elizabeth gets hurt, we shouldn't kill Elizabeth, but Elizabeth gets hurt, Lucky will hold that against Christina. What if Elizabeth did die though? And Lucky would have to take care of Aiden. That's not a bad story, but I don't want Elizabeth to die. I respect Becky. I appreciate Becky as an actress. I want Elizabeth around. She's the head nurse. Who would take her place? But if Rick dies, like Molly and Christina just decided they wanted to work on their relationship. And for Christina, if Christina kills her dad, like it's one thing to have him injured, but to actually kill him, that's a better story. So, I don't know. We'll see. What else? It was one other thing I was excited. Oh, to see who hired the hitman for Sonny. Was it Sidwell? Was it Valentine? Was it Brennan? Was it Rick? All right. I will. Oh, for GH, we probably won't talk again until Monday. So thank you guys for tuning in. I think I'm actually trying to get up to that 36 minutes so I can be as long as GH. But live long and prosper.